I played Lily Tomlin's daughter. Yes, daughter. At 3 months old. So that was my first gig. She was a clown. She was a clown at a circus, and she's rushed to the hospital to have a baby, and her baby comes out a female clown, and that's what I was.
Please welcome Katey Sagal and David Faustino. Hey, sure, absolutely, that's for you. Welcome back. I'll let you get situated.
All right.
There you go.
Hello.
Oh, let me get out of your way here.
Good morning.
So, David, you've been here before.
I have, yeah. I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago I was here.
Yeah.
So it's cool to be back and see everybody.
Well, welcome back. And I don't think you've done very many Comic-Cons before.
I have not. No, but I've been really enjoying it.
I talked her into it.
He kind of did.
There you go.
This is a really well-organized con, apparently.
Thanks.
My experience before was not quite the same.
So this is your first one?
I don't think it's my first one. I did some with Sons, and I've done San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay. So yeah, so you kind of know the drill and kind of know the folks. Well, this is so great. So everybody's been briefed on with the actors' strike and what we can say, what we can't say. So we're all pretty good with that. We just can't mention specific TV shows. We can say that show you were on. I know it's almost like a game of charades.
Wow, that's just weird.
It's been going well. I know it's weird, but everybody has just really got on board with it. Just kind of like a game of charades.
Thank you for respecting it. It's a really important thing. So none of us, thank you.
So
thank you for your patience on that one.
But the nice thing is it's almost like a once-in-a-lifetime, hopefully once-in-a-lifetime thing to actually do more of a general thing and kind of get to know you guys a little bit better.
Okay,
Great.
cool.
Let's talk about personal things.
With that we can. First off, how'd you get into acting? I know, David, you started at the age of 3 months. Is that correct?
Yeah. My older brother and sister had already been acting. So my mom got me into it right away. I played Lily Tomlin's daughter. Yes, daughter. At 3 months old. So that was my first gig. She was a clown. She was a clown at a circus, and she's rushed to the hospital to have a baby, and her baby comes out a female clown, and that's what I was.
What was the audition process like?
It was tough, let me tell you. I guess I wasn't. I wasn't well hung enough that they hired me, and they said, who cares? You can't tell.
You can see where this is going. And Katey, you started as singer-songwriter?
Yes.
You still have an interest in that?
I do. Not so much songwriting. I haven't written for a while, but I have a band and I sing. And yeah, I never really, I didn't really want to be an actor. My parents were in this business, and so I was a very rebellious teenager, and I also started singing at a very young age. So that was my pursuit until I literally could not pay any bills, and finally I said yes to an agent that sort of that discovered me. So in a little rock musical. So it was kind of a windy road that actors hate that story, but yeah, the minute when an agent found me, I started working after that.
Oh, what kind of band was it, or is it?
Well, for years I had sort of a blues band. I made a bunch of records in the when I don't even know how old I am, but I was in my 20s. And so I had several incarnations of records. Now I still put out records. I put them out like every 10 years, solo records. But yeah, I was on Virgin Records when I was on Married with Children. I was on Elektra. I was on Casablanca Records. This was really my pursuit. And I would almost get to where I wanted to go. And then I would go back on the road and be a background singer. So I kind of messed it up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got to see a lot of great shows over the years, because she would be performing at this club and that club, and it would be fun for all of us to come, watch Katey just sing her heart out.
Yeah, because it was sort of like when I got married with children, I kept thinking, oh, I better keep my real job because this is going to go away.
Well, right.
We didn't know. In fact, I don't think we even knew we were a successful show till about 3 years in.
3 years in, yeah.
Yeah, because it was a little network that nobody knew about.
Yeah. And this lady tried to get our, this really, 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 she like a billionaire, right?
I don't know, Terry Ricolta.
Ricolta, yeah. She tried to get our show taken off the air. She was successfully got McDonald's and Coca-Cola to pull as sponsors. And once she did that, everybody wanted to know, like, what's the show that we can't watch? And like the next week, the ratings were just through the roof.
Yeah, it's actually cover of New York Times.
Wow.
Is it?
When they tried to get rid of us, yeah.
Oh my God. And the producers sent her a thank you basket the next day.
Every year they sent it. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. And David, you have a background in music as well.
I do. I've been into hip hop for a long time, and I started some hip hop clubs. As a matter of fact, I'm just finishing a documentary right now about my creating these nightclubs that I would.
That was
bring
in the '90s. That was at the beginning of a lot of this.
It was in the '90s. Yeah, it was the beginning of hip hop, and hip hop was you had to go to the inner city. There wasn't any in the sort of club area of Los Angeles. So I brought hip hop to the Sunset Strip under the direction of Lou Adler, who I don't know if you're familiar with Lou Adler, one of the biggest record producers of all time. He's a genius. He's producing this with me, and it's really good. So it's about the being involved in the hip hop scene, in the club scene, and I DJ. I've been DJing now for over 10 years. So that's kind of my musical.
And
I'm a hip hop kid.
You're a hip hop kid.
I'm a hip hop old man. All right.
What was your first introduction into hip hop? Was someone, hey, listen to this tape, listen to this, or it's just something you were drawn to, or just happened to hear?
You know what's funny is I was already listening to Run DMC, their first album, but Christina Applegate had discovered the Beastie Boys, who I had not discovered the Beastie Boys, and so I remember we were at the table read. We were sitting there getting ready to do a table read, and she had her headphones, and I was like, "Who are you listening to?" The Beastie Boys. I put it on, fell instantly in love, and like I've been a hip hop head ever since, and I just kind of love the culture.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you mentioned what's the current project you're doing?
As far as music.
Yeah.
Oh, the documentary.
Yes, please.
The documentary's got everybody. Even Ed O'Neill is in the documentary. Yeah, because Ed came to the club one night and just like the crowd went nuts. I brought him up on stage and they were just like, "What?" And there's some great names. I have all the hip hop greats that are in it that I've interviewed, and awesome. Lou Adler and several other people. So we're excited about it.
Well, never mind. We can't mention the title, but we'll just move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Katey, you were like in the Cal Arts scene back when, and pretty good friends with Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, the late Paul Rubens. Any stories or any memories that you kind of, if you don't want to go down that road,
No, it's fine. I adored Paul. Paul and I, here's the story. My father, who was a director, he wanted me to be an actor, and because he'd seen me in some high school plays. And I was dead set on being a musician. I wanted to go to this particular school to be in the music department. And he said to me, well, I'm not sending you to the music department, but if you can audition and get into the theater department, you can go. So I did. I got in. And Paul and I were in the same class, and we were in the same dorm. And I used to go hang out in his room, which looked like Pee Wee's Playhouse. And he was so lovely. I just remember the two of us, we would sneak out at night, and he loved how I sang and played the piano, and we would sneak over to the music department in the middle of the night, and I would find a piano, and he would sit next to me or on the floor and just listen to me play.
Wow.
And it was just so heartwarming. And then over the years, Paul's one of those people, I am not one of these people, who stays in touch, who sends cards, who sends every year to my children, everybody gets a birthday card, a Christmas card. He was just one of the kindest people that I've ever met, and consistent, and I love him, and it was, I knew his struggle. Not a lot of people did. He was very private about it, but, God willing, he's in a better place. And so that's my Paul Rubens story.
Because he was supposed to be here.
I'm sure. He was at a lot of these.
Yeah, he was supposed to be here a few years ago and canceled, and we're like, oh, he must have something else going on, and we just didn't tell anybody it was a health thing. So
he had
it was really
some
sad he
stuff.
couldn't talk about it. So a few questions about that show, and then we're going to get to, not that show, but your show.
Okay.
A few questions about your show, and then we're going to get to some questions from the audience. If you're on that side of the room, we're going to have you line up over there. Kyle will get your questions. If you have questions on this side, line up over there. I'll get your questions. So
Great.
The show was always consistently funny and outrageous. How hard was it to keep in character with material this good?
Well, Katey would really bust up sometimes. Let me tell you. We'd be in the middle of taping, and she would just... and just start cracking up. But we all did it because sometimes it was hard when you're looking at Ed O'Neill.
It was just a funny, the funniest, right?
The funniest,
so
the best. He made us laugh. He made us laugh. On and off, like with his character and his storytelling. His storytelling, you could sit around for hours and tell story after
what he
story.
ate for lunch.
What he ate for lunch, and go into deep detail about it.
Every day, what he ate for lunch. Yes, and then the writing was so amazing. I mean, it was funny. It was truly it was funny every week.
It was a well-written show.
So over those years, though, did it keep the same core of writers, or did it always, because it always seemed to always fall into that really nice sweet spot?
Mm-hmm.
We went through several incarnations of writers.
Wow.
Yeah, we did, but there was always one, like Richard Gurman, for instance.
Yeah.
So you had a few writers that were there throughout the whole time, but we did switch, showrunners a few times. And,
and presidents of networks too.
Yeah. We outlasted a lot of people.
We did.
Was there, with a show like that, there had to fall into some improvisation with that? Did that really happen, or was it just scripted and you keep what we write?
I thought it was pretty well scripted.
It was pretty much well scripted,
so
and we stuck to the script. If you came up with some funny thing during rehearsal, a little thing, and they thought it was hilarious, they would write it in. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I'd say 99% written.
It was really, really well written. I mean, the key to that show was the chemistry of the cast.
Absolutely.
I mean, the writing and the chemistry. It was really a great bunch.
I got to ask, there was a different character at the very beginning for you and Kelly. How did that come about, the audition process?
Bad stage mothering. The first kid, I won't mention his name.
No.
There was another actor that was hired to play the pilot. I had auditioned for the show, and I got like one call back, and then I was out. And they hired another actor, and I don't know because I wasn't there. I don't know how good or bad he was as an actor, but I know that his mother really played a part in the producers going, do we want to spend the next however many years this show goes with this stage mom? And the answer was no. Mm-hmm. So they recast, and at that time I had switched agents, and they were like, you already auditioned for this, and they were like, she just like snuck me in anyway.
Nice.
And then I got to the first, second, third, fourth audition, and then we went to network, and I read with Christina Applegate, and it was like there was magic in the room.
It really was.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It was the best. And what was interesting is they both of them had worked more than me, for sure. So they came in with a different attitude. The first two, I kind of have it was the mommy, really. I mean, I think, even though when Chrissy and Dave came in, it was so the perfect thing. It was really the perfect thing.
Because it was another Kelly that they hired for the first one as well. Yeah.
So also with a run that long, you guys had different studios. Did that make any difference at all?
It did for me because we were in a particular neighborhood, and about 5 years in, I bought a house in that particular neighborhood. And then they moved us down west side, the other side of town. So if you've ever been in Los Angeles, traffic is a thing. So I was a little bit bummed. But but that, those are quality problems.
Those are first world problems.
Yeah, I like
first
that.
world problems.
So we're going to get to some questions from the audience. You guys are over in the hotel signing, am I correct?
Yes.
So if you want to get to their table, it's over at the DoubleTree. I believe you guys have a photo op right after this, if I'm not mistaken. So you got a bit of a busy day, but please stop by their table, hang out, get a photo op, and I'm going to let the audience ask some questions. I'll head over here.
Great.
And once again, thanks for coming out. This is really a bit of awesome.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
We're going to start with Kyle on that side of the room.
All right, first question, your name and your question.
Hi, my name's Carrie. My question was for Katey. Of course, they're going to ask you about that one show with the motorcycles. But I wanted to know what it was like, and where did you meet your husband, and what it was like working on set with him as one of your writers in that big famous show, and where did you guys meet, and if that had anything to do, or how was it like on set working with your husband?
All right.
Well, it was really...
Well, Kurt and I met through a group of friends. I don't even mind saying this. I say it to everybody, but we're both in recovery. And so we met in that... Yes, thank you. So we met through that particular, circle. And I had just gotten divorced, and he had just gotten divorced. And so we met, and, he was writing on The Shield. Oh, I can't say. He was writing on another show.
Writing on another show. We're good.
Another show. I just said shh. And then after that show, he started to write this other show, and he wanted me to be a little minor role in the other show. And it turned out to be the network wanted a bigger role for me, which was so fantastic because I was so well known as a comedian and a comic actress. And I had been just trying to beat down the dramatic door. So it was really great that he wrote that role for me.
And she killed it, didn't she?
Yep.
No.
You don't know how many scenes of you as that character that I just cried because you just touched.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Every string.
Thank you. It was great for us. This was the funny part. This is what he wrote a lot of scenes where I'm kissing and screwing around with a lot of other people. And for us, as professional actors, he's also an actor, we didn't think twice about it. But the other actors that I would have to be doing those scenes with, and he stopped coming to set because it would make them so uncomfortable. It was like, this is too weird. So, but for us, it wasn't even voyeurism, my friends. It was just kind of, it was part of our gig. And we worked well together. We had a few bumps that first year because I would ask too many questions. He finally was like, he was the boss. So he's very proprietary over his writing, he's a great writer. So we kind of had to find a rhythm about that, but we loved working together. It was a great 7 years.
That's cool.
Okay, next question on that same side of the room.
Hi. I'm married into a Bundy-loving family. So my husband couldn't be here. He's at home crying. But they use all the phrases like Chicago, and they go to Denny's for a Bundy full platter or watch a Bundleful Life. I don't know. But anyway, my husband wanted me to ask you, how was it working with Sam Kinison?
I love him.
He was one of my favorite guest stars we ever had. He had a huge heart. He had a lot of problems with, addiction, obviously. But we became very close, Sam and I. I don't even know if you know this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I mean, I was only 15 and I had an innocence about me that I think he latched onto, and he started inviting me to his house all the time before shows, and he would take me to the shows and introduce me on stage. I mean, there were drugs all over his house, but that was Sam. I mean, that's just. But he had a huge heart, and he even. I was over at his house on my dad's birthday, and my dad was a huge Sam Kinison fan. Like, that was his favorite comic. And I just said, hey, Sam, I'm going to call my dad right now. Is there any possible way? He goes, what, you want a few screams? I said, yeah, I want a few screams. So sure enough, he got on the phone with my dad. He went, Roger, happy fucking birthday! I mean, it made his year. You know, it was really cool. So he was a sweet guy.
He was really sweet. Do you remember? I remember one day at lunch, he brought us belly dancers to the set. He got us all presents, which were nightsticks. Do you remember? I still have mine. It was a big, it was a weapon, but it was like, this was his present from Sam Kinison. He was lovely. He had a big old entourage that would always come with him. Yep. And, we saw we saw the sweet heart of Sam. And I can remember being at clubs with him. And of course, I did not drink I was not in that. And he would look at me and he'd just say, you're like an angel, he would say to me.
He liked the innocence of that he couldn't have.
That he couldn't have, yeah. He was a very complicated but wonderful guy. Long.
We're gonna head over to this side of the room, right on the other side, right over here, and we're gonna get 2 questions right here.
Hello. My question is for Katey. I was just wondering, I mean, I know you were talking about a different show, but I know that you were in like this really cool science fiction series, this anime that was brought back recently. And yeah, I was just wondering, I mean, I know that the ending before it was taken off the air was just really beautiful. And I was just wondering if you think with it being brought back, if you think you can tell more stories that really do justice to that ending, or do you think it just can't be topped?
You mean the 2 particular characters that have a romance?
Yes.
No. This next batch continues some of that story. So this is the show that will never go away. It has been canceled like 3 or 4 times on 3 or 4 different networks. And the reason it keeps coming back is because of you guys. It has an enormous fan base. So thank you.
Cool.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
And, excuse me, and question, there you go. And question right here.
Hi, my name is Michelle. I watched that show, since the very, very beginning. I mean, that goes to show my age. Is there any guest stars that you're like, that you work with, just like pretty much, any stories you can tell about any particular guest star that you couldn't stand?
Oh, boy.
Which show are you referring to?
That show.
Our show.
Our show.
Our show.
Well, you don't have to answer. You don't.
Huh? The first shoe guy, Luke Ventura, remember?
Yeah, but I liked him.
You liked him?
I liked Rich.
Okay.
Any bad guest stars? I can't think of anybody.
No, I mean, the only thing that we were talking about Sam, but he did miss a few days of work. And that's only a 2-week show, and there's a lot of rehearsal, and he missed 2 days, and the producers were not happy about that.
Right.
But I didn't care because I knew he'd be back, and I knew what he was doing. It was called sleeping the day away.
I remember when Pam Anderson was on. She was great.
Yep.
That was one of her first jobs.
I don't think we've had anybody.
I don't think we had any problems. I think we were all so grateful to be there. I'm telling you, we were having a ball.
Yeah, it really was a great. It sounds cliche, but it really was a great set to work on. We all got along. I mean, we just did. I mean, yeah.
I have a follow-up to that. Were there, for as guest stars, were the guest stars saying, hey, I want to be on this show? Was there anybody who said, hey, I'd like this person to be on the show? Or was it just like luck of the draw, agent says, hey, we wrote this person in, here's your new guest star?
I remember, no, a lot of it was, I think, people that hadn't really broken yet. I mean, remember David Boreanaz was on?
Oh, that's right.
What's his name from Friends? Matt LeBlanc was on.
Yeah.
You know, people that hadn't really something that was maybe one of their first couple of gigs.
Oh, nice.
And there's other shows you'll watch. I see. You know, when I've seen older episodes, I'll be like, "Oh my God, that guy's a huge star right now." You know, so you'll see guest stars that just did little bit parts that are now, you know, maybe not giant stars, but in a ton of movies.
Working actors.
Yeah, working actors.
Okay, let's head over to the other side, and let's do 3 questions in a row on the other side of the room.
All right, here you go.
After playing members of a severely dysfunctional family on that show, I was wondering, were either of you worried about being typecast in future roles, or were you worried that people would cast you in just stereotypical roles related to those roles on that show?
Okay.
Me being typecast? The hell you say? For me, it always has been a worry. But I found this magical outlet called voiceover, and it's been so good to me for the last 20 years, from campaigns to cartoons after cartoons after cartoons, and it's kept me alive, you know, and I work hard at it, and I hit every audition, and when you get those campaigns, it's a lot of money. So voiceover saved me, and I still do films and things like that, but voiceover really has saved my life. So I'm very grateful for it, and that's the answer for me.
I, on the other
here.
hand, had a very difficult time breaking out of that. I had to do so many auditions so people could see that I didn't have big red hair and always look like that. And I think that, you know, it's the blessing and the curse of being on a something for 11 years. So I did have I remember when I auditioned for a very dramatic show on, can I say a network name? I don't know. Anyways, another network. And it was a recurring, and I had to go in like 3 times before they would give me this job. And this is after being on television for quite a long time. And it was finally creaking open. But I had a rough go for about 3 years of, you know.
How did you feel about auditioning, like right when we finished the show, right, and you started auditioning for other roles? How did you feel, like truly going into the rooms?
I sucked.
Right.
I was terrible.
Yeah.
I went and coached. I went, you know, because I had never really studied acting, and so I started to learn is what I did, because I had so many mannerisms and so many things that I had been doing for 11 years that I would just fall into them. So I had to kind of reverse my process so that I could, you know, so I could show up as something different, because I knew I could do something different.
Yeah. My thing was, I was a great auditioner, and then after the show ended, I just sucked at it.
Yeah.
Because you have this thing inside you that, like, they know who you are, they know what you're capable of. I have to be the best auditioner. I put so much pressure on myself, and I still do that. I've come way back, but I still do that to this day. It's like, you know, they know who I am, so I better be the best in the room, and that pressure just kills you.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Alex. Going back to the show you were both on, there was one episode you worked with Robert Englund. Any type of stories or anything you could share about that?
He, Freddy Krueger, just I'm just trying to remember fill Katie in on who Robert Englund
Wrong
is.
thing to say at a con, I'm sure.
No, he was a total just normal dude. He was like, I mean, not much to say about him. He was fun. He was into getting into the characters and having fun with the football players and the whole thing. I didn't get close to him or have lunch or anything with him, but he was a kind gentleman and he was down to play and he went for it and he had a good time. Yeah. Wish I had a more dramatic story for you about it, but
You know who was a great guest star on our show that I just remembered is Waylon Jennings. Wow. Do you remember when Waylon came on? And then I became friends with Waylon, and I would go, I had a house in Nashville as well, so I'd go hang out with Waylon and
cool.
Jesse, and they were great.
that's cool.
So we only have about 10 minutes left. We'll try and get to as many questions as we can. Make sure you head over to the hotel later on or get a photo op. Let's get the next question.
Hi, Ms. Sagal. I just want to know, what is your process when you got into the character on the No Ma'am show? Because the way you looked at discuss with the nameless shoe salesman was hysterical. I want to know, did you practice looking at him and discuss, or did you have to think about something revolting?
Wait, I'm sorry, I don't understand. The look that I gave the shoe salesman?
Mm-hmm. Like the discuss.
That you were married
Did
to
it come
on the show.
naturally, or did you?
Looking at my co-star?
Yes.
He was so good at that role, and when we auditioned, I'll never forget. When we auditioned, it was magic chemistry. He played that role so well that it was easy to look at him in a disgusted way. Plus, he had to say some pretty disgusting shit. I mean, that's.
Plus, we had to listen to what he had for lunch for 2 hours, and it probably disgusted you just thinking about it.
Which we love. David still talks to him every couple of days. He's told me.
I talk to Ed literally every other day, like two girls gossiping on the phone.
So sweet.
Because he sent his family to Bora Bora just for them to go vacation, and he stayed back. So he's lonely and bored and just wants to talk on the phone the whole time.
Tell him he could always go to a Comic-Con here.
That will never happen.
I tried to get him here. He was this close.
Really?
He was on the fence. I was like, bro, you have to come. You will have so much fun. You'll make so much money. And he was this close. And then the guy doesn't need any money. He owns a piece of Married with Children and
the Modern Family.
The Modern Family. So He doesn't need money. And he called me a few days later. He goes, D, I just can't do it, man. I just can't do it.
Well, at least he was on the fence.
Yeah. For a second, he was on the fence.
Let's do the 3 questions on that side of the room and see if we can get through them. We have about 7 minutes left.
Okay, so Ms. Sagal, what is your favorite episode of the character you played in the show about the future?
Oh, that is a very difficult question because there's been so many incarnations. My favorite episode, I don't think I can think of one favorite episode, even though I did like her family when they kind of went underground. So all those episodes were pretty great. It's an amazingly well-written show. So I don't have a good answer. Sorry.
Okay. Next question.
Next question.
Hi, I'm Max, and I was wondering about the episode you did that referenced the one episode you did on the show. You did the sci-fi show, and then you referenced your old show for it.
Correct. I don't know how to respond to that exactly, because I'm not sure what the question is. How did I feel about it?
It was the episode where the one kid married a shapeshifter.
Okay.
Right. What is your question about it?
Oh, how did you feel referencing your old show?
Oh, I love to reference. I love when they do that. I think it's great. And Matt Groening. Oh, can I say his name?
Yeah.
You can say names.
Matt was on the little baby network we were on at the beginning of that. So that's how I got on that show. Is Matt called me up and asked me to come in and read for that sci-fi show. Yeah. The fact that he would reference all that, it's almost like we all came up together.
Awesome.
David, how would Bud Bundy celebrate the 50th year of hip hop? And Katey, did one of your songs when you were a mother of the Bardella get cut, or was that the ending the only time you got to sing?
The mother of the
Bardella, Legacy, that pitching perfect movie, number 2.
Right. Did I sing in that? I don't think I did. At the end I did, yeah.
Do you get to sing another time like they said, well...
Oh, no, did they snip it? No, that was the only time I sang. That was it.
How would Bud Bundy celebrate the 50th year of hip-hop?
I'm going to be celebrating it in every way. First of all, my man Method Man is here today. Yep. I was lucky enough to open I did an opening DJ set for an hour for him in Vegas at the Mandalay Bay. So I haven't said hi to him yet, but I'm gonna celebrate it by I'm gonna have a big party at my house, and I'm gonna spin records all damn night and just let it ride. Yeah.
All right, we have time for 2 more questions on this side of the room. Before we go any further, thank you for doing this.
Thank you guys for coming and supporting us and showing up and giving us all the love that you're giving us.
Great.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
So, Katey, I've been a big fan of your music for years. Daddy's Girl in particular is a really, really awesome song. You have an amazing voice, but your red-headed character on the show, with which we do not speak apparently, had a horrible voice. Was it difficult singing terribly with your beautiful voice?
Which show did I sing terribly on? What was that?
Remember the national anthem on the Labor Day episode? You screeched.
Us?
Yeah,
Yeah. I remember they used to ask that particular character if I would sing, and my answer was always no. This woman would not be able to sing.
Yeah.
She could sing like in a dream sequence or something where she wanted to be a singer. But was that difficult to do? No, I think I was imitating another very famous comedian. So I had a good reference.
There you go. All right, let's squeeze in one more question, and you're going to go to a photo op after this, and then they'll be back at the hotel. So you won't find them here. They'll be at the DoubleTree at their table. So please hang out with them. Here's our last question.
Was the red hair real, and do you still do the laugh?
Well, I think the laugh just is the laugh. This is how I laugh. The redhead, for the first 3 years, before we thought we were successful, I would do that to my own hair. And then my hair just was not happy. And so this is how I knew we were a success, because a good wig is not cheap. So that 4th season, they bought me a wig, and I thought, okay, we've arrived.
Yeah.
we are employed for a minute. So, and then if you notice, which is so funny to me, every year that wig takes on its own life. Like there's some seasons where that wig is like up in here, right? So, that's the answer to that question.
Well, thank you so much for doing
Big
this.
Red, as
Give it
they would
up.
call it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
David
Appreciate
Faustino.
you.
You watched that whole video. Lucky you. You should subscribe to it or something. It makes you smart, like me. So have Fandom and follow your fun. Oh, and shut up and take my videos.